Welcome to In the Kitchen with Delightful Donna. On today's episode, we're gonna make a chunky guacamole and a red salsa. So stay tuned and watch me cook both of these amazing recipes for your parties. Today we're gonna be making a salsa and we're gonna make roasted salsa. So I'm gonna roast the vegetables first and then we're gonna blend them all up. So right now I have a cast iron pan on high heat and we're gonna get it like scorching hot because you wanna get those vegetables in there and really char them. So while I'm getting that heated up, I'm just gonna get my jalapenos over here and start cutting off the stems off of them. Because I like to roast them without the stem. It makes it easier when you go to put it in the blender that you don't have to take those off when they're super hot. I'm gonna use 4 jalapenos today. This is the heat level that we like, but you use the heat level you like. Remember we talked about how the blunt end on a jalapeno means not as much heat and that super pointy end means higher heat. So I have a couple with the blunt ends and a couple with the pointy end. So we're just gonna place these down inside the pan. They'll start sizzling in just a few minutes. I have some onion that I already peeled. I have 2 pieces. I'm using the red onion or purple onion, however you wanna call it. I'm using that today. Use whatever onion you guys like. That's what my family likes. I'm also, for my twist, I'm using tomatillos in my salsa. I'm also putting tomatoes in, but I add a couple tomatillos as well, and it gives it such a great flavor. A tomatillo is almost has a citrus type tanginess to it. So when you add those to your red salsa, it just gives it such a great flavor. So this is how tomatillos come. They have this papery layer on the outside of them. I'm just gonna turn my pan down slightly, guys. I'm gonna put it on more of a medium-high heat. So they have this papery skin. You have to peel that back like this and then twist this off like this. So this is what it looks like once it's peeled. We're not gonna use this one because it's not washed, but this is what it looks like. Then I'm gonna take my Roma tomatoes, which is what I like to use. We're gonna place those down. We're using 4 jalapenos today, so we're gonna use 5 tomatoes. Put all those in there. And then the other ingredients we're gonna use are gonna be lime. Like I said, we're gonna put the tomatillos. I just need to go over to the sink and wash them up really quick, and then we'll put the tomatillos in there. Always wanna wash your produce, guys. I'm gonna use 3 small tomatillos for this recipe. Alrighty, we're back and they're washed. So now they're down in there. Everybody's getting happy in the pan. I've also peeled 4 cloves of garlic that we're gonna use. We're gonna put the garlic cloves in at the very end because your garlic can burn very quickly and we don't wanna burn it. Like I mentioned, I have some limes. We're gonna use some lime juice and then we'll use some cilantro as well. So let's start taking a look and seeing what everything looks like. Starting to get a good char. It's good, everybody's looking happy, not quite ready to turn. Put that heat back up a little bit. All right. So we'll let these sizzle away, and when they get a little more charred, we'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll get ready to put them in the blender. As you can see, it's starting to get a nice char on them now. You can see there's the jalapenos starting to get a char. Looks really good. Tomatillos getting a char. Everybody's getting happy in here. Tomatoes looking good. They're blistering up real nice. These onions are looking real good. I'm gonna let them go for another 2-3 minutes or so. Listen, get it to the consistency that you like, whatever your family likes. My family likes it real charred. We're gonna char it up really good. But like I said, entirely up to you, whatever your preference is. So we'll just keep flipping them over and continuing to cook them until they're the desired char. They don't have to be completely cooked. So they're gonna continue, when you take them off and you blend them up, that heat is gonna carry over into the blender. So they're gonna have plenty of heat. So don't worry about that piece of it. And another pro tip for you guys, as you can see my pan is smoking pretty good. So you wanna use your exhaust fan and suck some of that out so your house doesn't get all smoky. Okay, so we have everything pretty well charred the way that we like it. So now we're just gonna start adding it to the blender. You can do this in a food processor as well. My food processor is pretty small, so that's why I'm not putting it in there. But notice I already put one jalapeno in the blender. I'm gonna put that one with seeds. These others, I'm gonna take the seeds out. I'll show you that in just a minute. Let me get all this out of here so that this pan stops smoking on you, so you guys can see a little bit better. Try to get up all those charred bits. We want to try to get those up if we can. All right. Now, here's another really good tip for you guys. I know that there's charred bits on the bottom of this pan, and you guys are like, man, how are you ever going to get that out? Whatever you do, do not soak this pan. You never soak cast iron. It will make it rust, and it will limit the life. You can have a cast iron pan and it can go through a lifetime. I've had this particular set for about at least 25 years, and they're still like the day I got them because they're seasoned well and I take care of them. So what I'll do is I'll let this pan cool off completely until it's cold, room temperature. And then I'll put just a touch of water. What I do is I wet my sponge and put a little bit of baking soda and scrub it out. If you have to use soap, you can use a little bit, but it's best if you don't use soap in them. And then scrub it out as best you can, rinse it out, put it back on the fire or on your stove, and turn the heat on and let all that water evaporate from the heat. Once the water's evaporated, put a little bit of a neutral oil, avocado oil, canola oil, something like that. I actually have a spray that's from Lodge, the cast iron company, and it's just an oil spray. Put your oil in there, rub it around with a paper towel, and then let it sit. And let it cool down on its own with that oil in it. You want to make sure you put the oil in when it's hot. And then once that's done, then you can put it away because that's just basically re-curing the surface. So anytime you put water in it, you have to do that re-cure. And it will last a lifetime. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how we take the seeds out of the jalapeno. Move some of my stuff aside over here. Okay. All right, so I just took my tongs. All I'm doing is cutting down the side. See how soft they are, and they're really easy to cut into. And I'm gonna kind of roll it and cut at the same time. So I'm just rolling that seed portion in the middle out of it. I'm gonna pull it out with my tongs and set it aside. We have a couple seeds, that's okay. And then we'll put those in there. And we're gonna do the same with these other three. So if you guys want to keep the seeds in, go for it. Listen, if you like your salsa really spicy, hey, more power to you. But I personally don't like it that hot. Some members of my family like it a little more spicy than I do, but hey, I'm making it, so too bad. All right. Believe me, there's going to be plenty of spice in there, and more than anything, there's going to be a lot of really good flavor. That's what we're really looking for. Roll. And out it comes. All right, there we go. Now we're just gonna add a couple more ingredients, and then we're gonna take this over and put it in the blender. I am gonna add some salt. I'm gonna do about a teaspoon. So you guys all remember that my little spice container, this is about a half teaspoon. So I put 2 of those in there. Add it to your taste, whatever you like. We're gonna put some lime juice. Remember, anytime we're doing lime or lemon juice, any citrus, we wanna roll it on the countertop to try to loosen up the pulp in there. Get the seeds off this knife. Alrighty. And we're gonna cut our lime. Handy dandy juicer. You guys don't need to use this. You can use your hands. I just like this because it strains out the seeds for me and it juices them really fast. All right, juice of 1 whole lime. In it goes, done with that. And then I like cilantro. My family loves it. Listen, if you don't like cilantro, don't put it in, guys. It's whatever your taste preference is. But I'm gonna put a big bunch of it in there. I take the bigger stems off. It does have some stems, but that's okay. Now we're gonna come on over here to the blender. And you blend this to the consistency that you like or your family likes. I always put this on backwards. There we go. We like it somewhat chunky. So I'm gonna put this on 6 on my blender because I don't want it to puree it to nothing. And we're gonna go for about 20 seconds and see what it does. Okay, see see how quick that was, guys? That was 20 seconds. Let's see what it looks like. Looks delicious. That's what it looks like. When you open it up and all those fumes come out, don't breathe in real deep, make you choke. All right, so let's see what we got here. Let's take a look at the consistency. Looks good. All right, we're gonna put some into this little bowl here, and then I'm gonna put some in the bowl because we're gonna let that cool off to room temperature, and we're gonna have some chips and salsa later on. But the rest I'm gonna put in a jar and put it in the fridge. I've told you guys before, I make salsa just about every week. My family really loves it. So I don't pressure can it or anything like that. I just put it in this and then put it in the fridge. It'll last for a good week to 10 days in the fridge, but it never lasts that long. Alrighty. There we go. So there we have delicious salsa that will be for the week, some to eat today, and we're all set. Okay, next we're gonna make some guacamole. That's one of the favorites in our house, something that my husband absolutely loves, and we're gonna make it fresh today. So I have my ingredients already assembled here. I've already cut up a piece of my onion, and I have my garlic already peeled, so we're just gonna move on with the rest. So first we're gonna do our avocados. And I'm using 4 large avocados because we have some guests coming over today for game night. And so I'm gonna do 4 because I wanna make it kind of a larger batch so that we can share with our guests. And we're gonna eat that with some of the salsa that we just made as well. All right, let me just get all of these open. Sorry, I keep slamming my knife down here. Sorry about that. Let me show you guys a pro tip. Actually, I just took it out of this one, but we'll do it on this one. So the way to tell if an avocado is ripe and ready to eat is on the stem end. If you pop the stem out like this, you want it to be green inside of there. If you pop that out and it's black or brown, that's not a good avocado. Put it back on the pile and get another one. You can actually pop those out in the grocery store to kind of check and make sure. Also, you want them to be heavy for their size, and you want them to be a little bit of a soft touch. You don't want them to be squishy. If your thumb really pushes in when you press on it, then they're gonna be too soft, they're gonna be overripe. Listen, they still work for guacamole, but if you wanted to use it for slicing, you definitely want it to be just barely pushing in. This one would be perfect for slicing, as a matter of fact. All right, let me get this 4th one cut, and then I'll show you how to remove the pits. I said pits. All right, to remove the pit, take my knife, I leave it on the cutting board, take my knife vertically, and with the back of my hand, I just press a couple of times. You see how it loosened up inside of there? It goes down into the pit a little bit and it loosens and I can pop it right out. And then I use a paper towel to grasp it firmly and pull it off the knife. And there you have it. I'll put this one aside and then I'll do the remaining. Tap, tap, tap until it loosens up a little bit. Grip it and pull it off. Then you don't risk cutting yourself with the knife while you're doing it. Comes out safely and easily. And we have one more. Let's just get this last one. Tap, tap, tap. Wiggle, wiggle. And there it comes. All right, now we have all 4 of them removed. So now our avocados are ready. So let me put this trash to the side. I'm gonna push the avocados up here for just a minute. They're ready to go. Now we're gonna work on chopping up our little veggies that we're gonna put in this. We're gonna use a whole jalapeno, a small Roma tomato, probably about 1/4 of the onion. This is half, so I'm gonna chop that in half again, and then I have 4 cloves of garlic because we love garlic. We're gonna dice all these fairly small, but not microscopic. Here's a tip for removing those seeds. Remember, we talked about this with the salsa. Now these ones are raw, they're not cooked, but it's basically the same premise. Cutting down basically 4 sides, getting rid of those seeds as much as possible. So that's gonna take the most of the heat out, but leave that great jalapeno flavor. Remember, there is some heat in the veins as well, and I'm gonna leave that vein in, so we do have a little bit of heat. I just don't want it to be overpowering, but we do wanna have that good jalapeno flavor. Now I'm gonna slice these in julienne strips first before I chop. You'll see how tiny I'm slicing these. These are very, very thin strips.
because I want it to be a small dice. Listen guys, I've told you this before, I'm not a professional chef. I'm a home cook that is mostly self-taught. I did learn a little bit from my mom, my grandma, my husband's grandma, you know, through the families, but mostly self-taught. But I will tell you that this is, I know how I like them to look and when I have the finished product, so that's what I base this on. So again, just the thin strips. I'm gonna tell you guys something. I'm gonna give a shout out to my sister right now, Christine. My sister is a phenomenal cook, a phenomenal baker. I did learn quite a few things from her as well. She used to live next door to me, and well, you know, we learned a lot of things together, but she's such a great cook, and actually I learned how to make guacamole from her. She's so good at it. She loves guacamole, and she's super good at making it too. So thanks for that, Christine. I love you. So, all right, so we're just gonna keep dicing. And you see how tiny these are. We'll have the camera zoom in on this so you can see just how tiny these dices are. This is gonna make it a slight little bit of crunch in the guacamole, but boy, is this gonna punch up the flavor, you guys. All right, and a lot of people use serrano peppers for this. That's okay too, any chili that you like. It's best if they're raw, but you know, you could use like a roasted green chili if you wanted. That would be a great flavor in this. So whatever flavor profile you like. All right, now let's get this tomato. And obviously, guys, all this produce has been washed. I just always like to say that to you. But obviously, I wash everything before I start. Okay, so I'm just making some very thin slices on these tomatoes. I'm gonna do the same thing that I did with the jalapeno. I'm gonna make really thin julienne stripes. Really, I can talk too. Really thin julienne strips, like this. Get these all in a row here. And then we'll dice these up just like we did with the jalapeno. And again, really small pieces. My husband is not a huge fan of tomatoes. He does love guacamole and he will eat it with these tomatoes, but he's not a huge fan, so I make them as small as possible so that he doesn't get a big chunk of tomato in his mouth, because he will not be a happy camper. Okay, we're gonna continue on just making these, again, thin julienne strips. And then the dice, like we just, and you get this to whatever consistency you like or whatever size dice you like. It's pretty good for us. We like it a little bit chunky. Get the rest of this garlic off my fingers. Alrighty, now we're gonna move on to our onion. Like I said, I'm gonna do about 1/4 of an onion. And I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I'm gonna cut these in very thin julienne strips. And then we're gonna dice them just like we did with the rest of the vegetables. All right, take half of these and julienne strip again. All right, and now the dice. Like the onions in slightly bigger pieces. We really like onion in our house. This red onion gives a real nice punch of flavor as well. I really like it in guacamole. I just really like it to be red onion for some reason. It just tastes so good. It tastes very fresh to me. It's not a very pungent onion flavor, but it gives, like I said, a nice taste. And red onion is my sister's favorite too, so. Alrighty. Guess I'll be nice. This is her birthday month, so I'll do things the way she likes it. Okay, now we have all of our vegetables chopped. Now we're going to scoop our avocados into a bowl. You don't have to do anything fancy. Just get them out of the skin and drop them into the bowl. And then we're gonna use, you can do this however you like. Some people use a fork. I'm kind of lazy, so I don't do it that way. Some people use a potato masher. That works too. I'm gonna use a pastry cutter because it will chop them, the avocados up, and will not smash them, which I don't know. To me, I like my guacamole a little bit chunky. So when I've used a potato masher in the past, it got it too soft for me. All right, so all of these scooped in here like this. Alrighty. Now, all right, we're gonna take all of our veggies. I have one of those scoop things. I don't know why I don't use it. That was kind of dumb, wasn't it? Let's see if we can use it. That'll work. All right. Okay. Got all that in there. Now let's get the rest of our ingredients, which is a teaspoon of salt. Remember, like I said, my little spoon here is a half teaspoon, so I'm gonna use 2. You guys, salt and pepper to your taste. You know, I just like the average amount, I guess. Got a half teaspoon of black pepper. This is coarse ground pepper. Don't want it too overpowering. And then we're gonna put some lime juice in here. Whoopsie. All right, we're just rolling our lime along our cutting board to get the flesh loosened up inside. Alrighty, see how juicy this is. It's pretty juicy. And let's do the other half. We really like lime. You guys could use lemon. I like to put some sort of citrus in there. The acid really helps so that the avocado doesn't turn brown. But if you don't like citrus, skip it. Don't put it in. If you have the little bottled lemon juice, go for it. Whatever works for you. All right, now I'm gonna use this pastry cutter to chop up my avocado a little bit. And like I said, we like it kind of chunky. I don't want to chop it too much, but you see how fast this comes together once you have everything chopped up. And a couple more times around here. And we're almost done. All right. All right, that looks pretty good to me. Let's get our spoon out. Clean this off. We want to get all that avocado goodness. All right. Okay, guys, we're going to give it a quick stir. Just to make sure that we get everything incorporated. And you see, there are some big chunks in here. Okay? But as we stir it around, you see that it's starting to get a little bit creamy. Which is the best thing about guacamole, is a little bit creamy, a little bit chunky. And you see the flecks of the different vegetables in there. Man, guys, this is gonna be so good. I don't know if I wanna share with our guests. I might wanna eat this whole bowl myself. Man, this looks great. Okay. All right, there you have it. Okay, so here's what it looks like when we put it in a beautiful little bowl. Doesn't it look great, you guys? It's chunky. You can see those little flecks of all the vegetables in there. Looks good. All right, well, thanks for watching my videos. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at cooking_with DD, and then like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at In the Kitchen with Delightful Donna. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. And please share, share, share so I can get lots of subscribers. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day. Bye.